Today, we start a 2-day journey to cook some beautiful ribs using flavors from the famous Cantonese dim sum, steamed pork ribs and garlic and black bean sauce. And we start by making the marinade, which we'll use as our rub. Here, we've heated some neutral oil to 120 degrees Celsius, and we add our roughly chopped garlic to lightly fry them until they're pale golden. The objective of the exercise here is to mellow, but not fully remove, the garlicky kick and allow the natural sweet nuttiness to come through. If you're doing a larger batch, use a food processor, but I would definitely not use a garlic crusher because that would break down the cell walls too much, making the garlic too easy to burn. Once you see a hint of pale golden on the edges, that's all we need. Stove off, remove the garlic, but we're saving the oil because it has taken on some mild garlicky taste. We practically have garlic-infused oil here, and we'll use this to brown our ribs tomorrow. Now, to make our rub, of course, beautiful garlic with a bit of oil. They go in. It is a very garlic-forward dish. Some fermented black beans, which I've soaked and roughly chopped. They will bring a ton of umami, a ton of savory depth, and of course, salinity. So we're adjusting the salt level accordingly to reinforce the umami and savory notes and to give us a bit of a kick. Some Sichuan chili bean paste, optional of course. To further reinforce the umami, oyster sauce. And of course, if you're using store-bought oyster sauce, this contains a lot of stabilizers. So this can actually be your partial thickener to balance all those wonderful savory notes and to add some complex sweetness. A bit of honey. You can use brown sugar as well, or mirin. But again, honey and ribs sounds like a marriage made in heaven. More umami, more savory note, and some floral undertone. Generous amount of Shaoxing wine, kind of a Cantonese signature. Soy sauce, more umami, more savory, more salinity. Another Cantonese staple, the unique warmth from some freshly ground white pepper. Now, to bind everything together and help this bind to the ribs tomorrow, cornstarch. You can use potato starch, but again, cornstarch is a Cantonese staple. Really work them in. Now, in the traditional recipe, you would have ribs that have been rinsed and soaked in soda for at least 6 hours so that all the so-called impurities have been removed. And along with that goes all the flavors. It is one of the few occasions I disagree with Cantonese cooking. Yes, I want to taste this wonderful marinade, this wonderful sauce, but I also want to taste the pork. So today we do something different. We are simply going to dry brine this with some salt. What the salt's going to do, besides seasoning it thoroughly, is that it will start to break down the protein fibers, making the ribs more tender and improving its ability to stay juicy after cooking tomorrow. We're only going for 0.6% salt, factoring in all the potential salt in the marinade. So this goes in the fridge uncovered, this goes into the fridge for all the flavors to have time to really mix together, and we drain off the garlic-infused oil, and that will be our cooking oil. I'll see you tomorrow. After a day in the fridge, during which I've elevated the wire rack, the salt has done its magic, but the fridge has also done its magic by removing almost all the surface moisture, the #1 enemy, to good browning. So all we have to do is that we brush the beautiful rib with the garlic-infused oil we saved, but not yet the marinade, because we want to brown it. We want to cause the Maillard reaction, the caramelization that would make the ribs meatier and more complex. And because of the natural sugar of our marinade, it will burn before the ribs could get any meaningful color. And that's why we did not marinate this thing with our marinade. Beautiful. 200 degrees fan, 20 minutes. After 20 minutes and just enough time for it to be cool enough to handle, it's time for origami. Save the tray, by the way. Just drop some potatoes in 40 minutes before dinner, or use the oil to make some fried rice. First, create a thin layer. As you can see, I'm taking mostly the solids because the overnight rest has given time for the flavors to really be absorbed So we're taking with us the umami from the soy sauce, from the Shaoxing wine, without introducing too much moisture, factoring in this will start to steam itself with its own juices. So save this for the potatoes or fried rice. Now, as tight as you can, so everything will be submerged in this wonderful, wonderful liquid. Now, low and slow into the oven, 120 degrees Celsius for 6 hours for the collagen in the connective tissue to really have time to break down into extremely yummy gelatin and for the flavors to really penetrate with the pork. See you then. After 6 hours and a 10-minute rest directly on the serving plate, we're ready. Be careful though, it's still very, very hot. The sticky crust is almost bark-like, and we just slide this beauty down. And in the spirit of the dish that inspired this recipe, just garnish with a bit of red chillies. And that's it!